Hello. I am live. I feel finally a little bit like I'm live. I ended up last Friday getting a positive COVID diagnosis. I'm here because I just can't sit and stare at one more YouTube video or news channel or holiday movie. And I miss you guys. So I thought I would see how much oxygen I have to be able to read this chapter. So it looks like a long one. I don't know that I'll get through the whole, the whole thing, but um, I'll give it a shot. So let's read. I'm on page 263, chapter 47. You guys chat with me. I've missed talking to you. I've been thinking it over again, Elizabeth, said her uncle as they drove from the town. And really, upon serious consideration, I'm much more inclined than I was to judge as your eldest sister does of the matter. Remember, they're on the hunt for, hi, Cadet Penguin. Remember, they're on the hunt for her sister Lydia, who ran off with Wickham, supposedly to get married, but shockingly, they didn't get married. And so her reputation and all the family's reputation is at jeopardy. Beautiful sunny day. Those of you in the snow, see how beautiful the blue sky is. Green grass. We don't have any snow on the ground here. Could he expect to be noticed again by the regiment after such an affront to Colonel Forster? His temptation is not adequate to the risk. Do you really think so? Cried Elizabeth, brightening up for a moment. Upon my word, said Mrs. Gardiner, I begin to be of your uncle's opinion. It is really too great a violation of decency, honor, and interest for him to be guilty of. I cannot think so very ill of Wickham. Can you yourself, Lizzie, so wholly give him up as to believe him incapable of it? Not, perhaps, of neglecting in his own interest, but of every other neglect I can believe him capable, if indeed it should be so. But I dare not hope it. Why should they not go on to Scotland if that had been the case? In the first place, replied Mr. Gardiner, there is no absolute proof that they are not gone to Scotland. Oh, but their removing from the chaise into a hackney coach is such a presumption. The light is really bright, so it's hard for me to see. So if I don't greet you, I apologize. Gloomy Sana. That's a fun name. And Siddharth, hey, you're on break. I'm so glad for you. I don't know, guys. I might wear out. Let me try and get through. Excuse me. Let me try and get through this page and see how well I hold up. It doesn't have a lot of emotion to it. And besides, no traces of them were to be found on the Barnet Road. Oh, there we are. But why all the secrecy? Why any fear of detection? Why must their marriage be private? Oh, no, no, this is not likely. His most particular friend, you see by Jane's account, was persuaded of his never intending to marry her. Wickham will never marry a woman without some money. He cannot afford it. And what claims has Lydia? What attractions has she beyond youth, health, and good humor that could make him, for her sake, forego every chance of benefiting himself by marrying well? As to what restraint the apprehension of disgrace in the corps might throw on a dishonorable elopement with her, I'm not able to judge, for I know nothing of the effects that such a step might produce. But as to your other objection, I'm afraid it will hardly hold good. Lydia has no brothers to step forward, and he might imagine, from my father's behavior, from his indolence and the little attention he has ever seemed to give to what was going forward in his family, that he would do as little and think as little about it as any father could in such a matter. But can you think that Lydia is so lost to everything but love of him as to consent to live with him on any other terms than marriage? It does seem, and it is most shocking indeed, replied Elizabeth with tears in her eyes, that a sister's sense of decency and virtue in such a point should admit of doubt. But really, I know not what to say. Perhaps I'm not doing her justice, but she's very young. She's never been taught to think on serious subjects. And for the last year, half year, nay, for a 12-month, she's been given up to nothing but amusement and vanity. Selena Wu, hi to you. Hey, Hassan. It's so good to see you. Um, so I don't do a lot of talking, and when I do talk, I find I run out of oxygen. So I'm going to finish this page, and then that's going to be a really short episode. But at least I'm getting back into the routine. Um, I lost my place. Since the Shire was first quartered in Meryton, nothing but love, flirtation, and officers have been in her head. She's been doing everything in her power by thinking and talking on the subject to give greater, what shall I call it, susceptibility to her feelings, which are naturally lively enough. And we all know that Wickham has every charm of person and address that can captivate a woman. So he's such a charming guy, she couldn't resist him. But you see that, Jane, said her aunt, does not think but you see that Jane does not think so ill of Wickham as to believe him capable of the attempt. Jane thinks well of everybody, though. She's just so sweet. Of whom does Jane ever think ill? And who is there, whatever might be their former conduct, that she could believe capable of such an attempt, till it were proved against them? But Jane knows, as well as I do, what Wickham really is. She knows the truth. We both know that he has been profligate in every sense of the word, that he has neither integrity nor honor, that he is as false and deceitful as he is insinuating. I'm glad. I do indeed, replied Elizabeth. No, I missed a line. And do you really know all this? Cried Mrs. Gardiner, whose curiosity was to the mode of her intelligence was all alive. I do indeed, replied Elizabeth, coloring. I told you the other day of his infamous behavior to Mr. Darcy, and you yourself, when last at Longbourn, heard in what manner he spoke of the man who had behaved with such forbearance and liberality towards him. And there are other circumstances which I am not at liberty, which it is not worth while to relate. But his lies about the whole Pemberley family are endless. From what he said of Miss Darcy, I was thoroughly prepared to see a proud, reserved, disagreeable girl. Yet he knew to the contrary himself. So let's see if that may be the end of me. Yeah, I think so. Um, I'm sorry, guys. I tried. I really want to get this book done, and we're so close to the end. So I don't know how I got this stupid virus. I wore my mask. I washed my hands. I followed the rules. It was just my destiny. Thankfully, or as they say in Tunisia, alhamdulillah, I am getting better. And I just don't want to overdo. But the sun feels great. I'm enjoying sitting on my porch. And I will try again to read. If you haven't subscribed, please do it so we can keep growing. And as I always say, since this was not even 10 or 15 minutes, I will read to you next time. Bye. See ya.